You're listening to Speaking Stellar Girl with Terry Tkachuk, an interview series that inspires women to live their most stellar life. Terry is the co-founder of the Stellar Girl movement, and she is sitting down with women all over the world to hear about the key moments in their lives and how they live boldly, compassionately, and ultimately became a stellar girl.
Welcome to Speaking Stellar Girl. I am Terry Tkachuk, and I am thrilled to have Adaleta join me today. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Ada was, that's good start. That's a good start. Ada was born in Bosnia and came to the US when she was 5. Her family escaped hardship and war and arrived in Philadelphia. Ada's father became a pilot and as his career progressed, the family moved to LA shortly thereafter. Ada started blogging in 2013, writing about different events she attended, and eventually evolved into a lifestyle blog. And her lifestyle blog covers all forms of travel, beauty, fashion, style, and way much more. Now with 540,000 organic followers, please let's welcome Ada. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to get to chat with you and finally have some face-to-face time. I've heard so much about you. I've tried the brand, and so it's nice to actually put a face to a brand and a face to a name.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that so very much. Because my introduction about you was brief and our Stellar Girls out there listening would love to hear a bit more about your story, your journey. Could you share a little bit of history with us and how you came to such an amazing life as an influencer?
So this started all back in 2013, as you mentioned, and it was more of a hobby back then. And I really started it with beauty because I love to spend hundreds of dollars a month at Sephora and Ulta. And I just wanted to try the products and tell people what I thought of them. And back then, I think there was a lot of people doing YouTube, but there was really no one doing blogging, and Instagram was just kind of the new thing. You know, it had just launched in 2011, and I had been posting for fun, but the blogging is really what started. And I started gaining a bit of an organic following on the blog, and people wanted to know, is it worth it? Is it not? And then I started to take flat lays of all the beauty products over on Instagram, which hadn't really been done before. This was kind of the time of Zoella, Michelle Phan. They were the only ones kind of reviewing and doing YouTube videos. And so me doing it from a blogging Instagram standpoint was kind of new. And so that's how it all started. And then I started working in tourism, which led me to be able to travel to so many amazing places and cover that as part of my blog as well. So then it became kind of this beauty travel blog. And then the most recent addition is fashion. And I felt like that was very lifestyle because I noticed that photos that have people or you in them perform a lot better than when it's just a photo of a thing, because people can't associate with a blush. They can't associate with just the same product over and over. They want to see you wearing the blush. They want to see you wearing the lotion, the fragrance, holding it in your hand. So that's why I started to incorporate more fashion, because it felt kind of like that lifestyle familiar approach for people. And now it is more than a blog. It is all sorts of social media. As you know, I'm on TikTok. I've got Pinterest, Twitter, Facebook, a YouTube channel, and I also have a podcast as well. So there's a lot going on. It's kind of that full lifestyle brand, all about me. And yeah, it's been really fun. And it covers, like you mentioned, the beauty, travel when we can travel again,
Yes.
and lots of fashion now, kind of styling at home looks.
Fantastic. So have you started your podcast yet?
The podcast has been launched for, I think we're getting to a year actually. And I have a podcast manager who helps me. She kind of edits the episodes and like does our intro. Then I just review, chat with the guests, and then she adds the outro. And that's how we stay on schedule, because if it was just me editing YouTube videos and doing Instagram content and writing blog posts and the podcast, I don't think it could be possible. So I have help on the podcast front, but we've been launched now for, I think we're coming to a year actually. We have about 50, 60 episodes now, which has been really fun and a nice learning game. I find that the podcast industry is a lot more welcoming than some others. It's not quite as difficult as, Instagram and YouTube. Podcasters just seem to be very warm and welcoming. They're like, come on in, let's be on each other's podcasts, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, your following is all organic. You have fans and admirers of your work and your authenticity, and that is one thing Stellar Girls and this movement is all about, is real girls and having a stellar mindset every day, which you do. I mean, you're a go-getter, or
Yeah.
I call them glow getters, because I love everything that sparkles, because sparkle
Hmm.
makes me happy. Glitter in general. But I mean, what are some of the stellar girls in your life who have influenced you along the way, who have helped you develop into the woman and mega influencer that you are?
So I always have to give huge shout outs to my mom because she is the one who has pushed me, and she has this cute phrase that she's told me since I've been, like, I don't know, in 3rd or 4th grade, where she says, "You, Ada, you are the best of the West and the North and the South and the East." And she's just so cute. It's just like
Oh,
the cutest little phrase. And so whenever I tell her some sort of good news, she's like, "I told you, you're the best of the North." And it's just so cute. But she has been supporting me since the very beginning, even before she really understood what this was. And when I told her I was, leaving the corporate world and I was going to pursue this, she's like, "Well, are you sure?" And she's like, "You've got it figured out. Like, you know what you're doing." So even though she didn't really understand social media, she created an Instagram account, and now she's like the first person to comment on my posts and like them. And she's like, tells me that she sent it to my grandma. And I'm like, "Mom, you are definitely my biggest fan." And
biggest
she's just
fan.
been such like, she's just been so supportive, but also such an inspiration because she's made a lot of sacrifices, and she made the ultimate sacrifice to bring us to the US and have us leave Bosnia. So that was a huge sacrifice because she was a doctor in Bosnia. And once you cross international lines, you lose all accreditations that you had in another country. So being a doctor in Bosnia does not mean you're a doctor in America. And so that was a big sacrifice for her after building her career for almost 30 years to lose all of the work and schooling she'd done.
Yes.
So that sacrifice to me has been very inspirational, knowing that she did this for myself, my brother, and for my dad. I mean, that's huge. So I think there's just a lot of lessons to be learned from my mom. And then I also
That's
have to
incredible.
say that I know I mentioned her already, but my podcast manager has actually been with me from the very beginning. So back when I was working in tourism, I couldn't be on social media during the day. I couldn't, make deadlines, and I already had deals that I was working with brands, but I also had a 9 to 5. So during the day, she would be the one logging into my accounts and posting as me, and she would know my language. She'd draft everything up. She'd have me approve it. And she really helped me push through the phase of me actually being able to manage kind of 2 jobs at the same time, because she was there and she was already a contractor and working on her own. So she really helped push me to be able to get to this place of my full potential with the brand. So I think those two are the ones that I always like to give shout outs to, because they've obviously supported me even when it didn't make sense or when it wasn't easy. And I think, you need those people in your life who will
Ab-
support you. And even if they don't understand fully what your goal is or what it is, they're just like, "You go get them. You got this." You need that in your life.
And that is Stellar Girl. I love that we champion each other, and
Yeah.
that your mom and your podcast manager have championed you and been there and supported you. And these are the stories and the journeys that we love to share. So you've really embodied what this is all about, and I'm so excited for you and what your future entails. Could you tell me? You mentioned you were in the corporate world before you got into the social media and the traveling. What did you do before that?
So, what I was doing in tourism is I worked for an agency that sold a lot of different tech and marketing solutions to destination marketing organizations. So, a lot of people my age don't really know what a DMO is, but it is basically, let's just say for the city of Phoenix in Arizona, they have an office called Visit Phoenix, and they have a website, visitphoenix.com.
Okay.
Those websites are powered by a database, which is a CMS system. And so we were selling that CMS system and then the CRM, which is the customer relationship management database, to them. And then we were also doing SEO, social media, email marketing, digital marketing, all of that good stuff, but specifically for destinations, which is why I was on the account management side and I got to do so much traveling, and I would wine and dine my clients. I would teach them about our new software. I would sell them on the new things that we were offering in the tech space. When responsive design on websites became a thing, it was me who had to educate my clients and explain, this is why you want a responsive website. So it was an amazing job, and it was really hard to leave, let me tell you, because traveling 2-3 times a month to amazing places. I mean, I've been to Norway 3 or 4 times because of that company, and that is an expensive place to go. When you start to look at numbers, you're like, oh wow, that would have cost me $4,000. I wouldn't have afforded that 4 times. So I got to travel to amazing places, and I built just incredible relationships with my clients. But just everything I could do at that job, and the fact that it was my passion, because there was a lot of social, there was a lot of marketing, a lot of just web design too. I had a hard time making the decision, but it came to a point where it was like, I'm working 2 jobs and I'm constantly on, whether I'm doing something for my blog or social for myself, or if I'm doing it for one of my clients. So there was a point, and I would say that I had 2 signs that kind of told me it's time to make this decision.
Tell us.
So I had come to a place where I did not have any more vacation time, and we're talking, it's like May of the year, which means I have a lot more time that year that I have no vacation for. My bosses already knew that I kind of led this double life. And I had one trip with a skincare company that I still work with today. It's an amazing brand. And they said, we'd love to have you and a couple other influencers come out for the week. And it's going to be 4 days total. And it's all during the week. So it was Tuesday through Friday. So I knew I was going to need 4 days off. Then another opportunity to work with a destination marketing organization outside of my corporate job. So they wanted to pay me to travel to their destination, go to restaurants, do all these activities. In my mind, I'm like, yes, this is where I've wanted to go my whole life. And I've wanted to be paid to travel and experience these things. So both of those trips came at the exact same time. I have no vacation time. And my fiance and I just had to sit down and talk about it and say, do I make this leap of faith now? Because this is a sign. You take these 2 trips, you're moving your career forward in one direction, or do you say no to that and kind of put the blogging and social media to the side and, go for a senior position at the company? And obviously we decided that, I had to take the leap of faith and just see what happens. It was kind of a moment of, it's now or never. If I'm going to do this, I want to do it now. And also the corporate world is going nowhere. If I need to have a job and, social media suddenly ceases to exist in 5 years, I'll go back into sales. I'll go back into marketing. I have that experience that I can easily find a job, down the road. So that was the decision that we decided to make. And yeah, I just felt like those 2 trips at the same time was just like, opportunities over here, Ada, you got to like make this decision now. And so I did.
I love that. I love that you followed your passion and your heart, and you had your aha moment, and you listened to your intuition, and off you went. This might be a difficult question because I love to travel as well, but do you have like a top 5 of your favorite destinations that you've been to? Name me 5 of your favorites.
Yeah, so I think Norway is very special because I've been there many times. And before ever going to Norway, and I've been to Iceland too, and I hated the snow, right? So when I decided, that to go there for an actual vacation of my own, not for work, I just realized that I actually don't really hate the snow. It was really about where I was going and the people and the experience, because I don't ski and I don't snowboard. So I'm not like an outdoor sports person. But I found myself really loving the snow, and I hadn't really given it a chance before. But the people in Norway are just so nice. Everything is so clean. And I've always been kind of a germaphobe in general. So public transportation in a lot of places in the US, not really for me. I just see that it's just kind of creeps me out. But in Norway, you could eat in the train, on any form of transportation. It's just so clean, which was so appealing to me. But the people are really nice. There's so much culture, and just different types of activities. Like you could go dog sledding. These are things that I, never really thought were, there just weren't activities that came to mind. It wasn't like I woke up one day and I was like, I want to go dog sledding, or I want to go run in the snow. So it was just, it really opened my eyes to, this is really cool, So Norway is top of the list. Portugal is also amazing. We've been to Lisbon and Sintra. And there was this magical energy about Sintra in particular, because it's right on the coast. We stayed in this beautiful Airbnb, and the people are so kind. I mean, they welcome you into their coffee shops, into their restaurants, and they're, like pulling your chair out and you're like, what's going on? Like, they're just so nice. It's like they're inviting you into their home, into every business that you're in. And so the people really made that trip for us. And obviously, I mean, the landscape is beautiful.
Of course, yes.
And then Italy is up there too. I love Italians. I love the culture. I love wine. I love all, like, pasta. All of that is just delicious. The food, the wine, the people, again, super warm. I think what I've realized through all this travel is that the destination can be absolutely beautiful, but it's really the people and the experiences you have interacting with them that make or break the destination.
100%.
You can have the most amazing architecture and the most amazing coffee shop, but if the service is bad, if the people aren't warm, you're just like, it wasn't that great. So those three for sure. And then maybe I should have some in the US. Boston is one of my favorite cities in the US.
Okay.
I love the history. I love all the historical elements of Boston. I love the restaurants. And then I think New York City will always have a special place in my heart too, because every time I go, I just have this boost of energy. I find creativity in things that I didn't even realize existed, and I've joked with so many of my friends who do what I do and they live in the city, because they can make a dumpster look cool because it's in New York City. You can make it cool. You're in an alleyway and
you can stand there with your outfit on and do your OOTD.
Exactly. It's like, you got your biker boots on and you're just standing on the dumpster, and it would not look cool in Arizona, but it's just, there's so much inspiration and energy there. So I think those are kind of the five that come to mind. Yeah.
Well, what I took away from that, I've been to Iceland, so I definitely feel your joy and passion with that. I have not been to Norway, so that will be on my list now for sure. But you do have to check out Japan if you haven't been there yet.
That was on my list last year.
The reason I'm telling you that is because you said you were a bit of a germaphobe and how clean everything is in Japan. And as you know, there was the bombing, and so they don't have any garbage cans. So you carry your garbage wherever you go.
Well, where does it go at the end?
You bring a plastic bag in your purse or your backpack that you bring with you on public transportation or through your walks throughout the day. And you put it in the plastic bag. And if you find a garbage can, you put it in there, and most of them are guarded.
Wow.
They have military or police at the garbage cans in the train. So, and also you'll love this about the doilies. Every cab in Japan, in Tokyo, is white sheets with doilies like you think my Ukrainian grandmother would make.
Oh, that's so cool. I had no idea.
Pristine. Just two little things no one would ever think of when they go there. So put that on your list for sure.
That was on my list along with Australia last year. So now I'm trying to figure out, when can we travel, because I got places to go. Japan is really high on my list, honestly, because I love the food. There's a lot of really cute pink places in Japan, and pink is kind of my aesthetic. So I need pink coffee shops,
I have
pink
this
restaurants
for you today.
Oh my gosh, beautiful. I just love the pink. And I keep seeing photos in Japan of their influencers, they're local, and they're just posting in front of pink buildings. I'm like, I need this in my life.
And it's absolutely true. The pink is, and the people in Japan, the women were absolutely like so warm. So like they stopped you, they wanted to talk to you, probably because I'm, 5'9", and they're like, who's this Amazon? But they
have really good skincare too.
Oh, and in South Korea too, the skincare, like you will love South Korea, and go into even the airport. The skincare is outstanding and so affordable. Like the brands from South Korea, I have so many to tell you about. I'll share that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Later. I'm going to need your entire list.
Oh my gosh. You will love South Korea too. So we can talk all day about that. But so I also wanted to, really wanted to talk to you about what brings you joy. I know that your work brings you so much joy, that you have a fiance in your life, but what do you do? Because we talk with other Stellar Girls about, their self-care journey. What brings them joy, like on a daily basis, because we can't travel, because we can't always see our family right now. What's bringing you happiness and joy during this time?
So definitely a loaded question because I feel like there's certain elements of multiple things that give me that joy where I'm like, I feel at ease, I feel great. I think the biggest one for me right now and through this entire pandemic has been fitness. Luckily, I live in a state where the gyms have reopened and we are allowed to go to them. And I am part of a CrossFit gym. It's kind of like boot camp. Like there's so many variations, but I love the HIIT workout because I've tried so many forms of exercise in the past. I've done the yoga, the bar, the Pilates. I've done a marathon where I was just
Wow.
running forever. And I've always loved to run, but I didn't realize I don't really like to run more than 10 miles in one day.
You've got me
What else?
beat. I can
I've
barely run
done
a mile.
Orange Theory. I mean, I've
Yeah.
honestly tried so many things, and the HIIT workouts have been the best for me. And it's the thing that's actually made me feel like I'm seeing a change in my body where I feel toned. And for me, it's not about weight loss. I want to feel good. I want to
Absolutely.
actually have, like, I actually
Absolutely.
feel like I worked out. And so that has really been, I don't want to say it's a joy in the moment because I feel usually I want to like throw up or I'm like, this sucks. I hate burpees. I don't want to do anymore. Like pull-ups or push-ups. But afterwards is that, you know, joy, you feel really good. So that's been a focus. And
Okay.
usually because I'm traveling so much, I can never be consistent with it. Because I haven't been going anywhere, I have been so consistent with the fitness and what I'm eating because we're all at home. So that's been one piece. The other thing I really, really enjoy is doing like a really long self-care routine. I'm talking like I'm doing 2 hair masks, I'm doing like 1 face mask, then I'm doing like putting a clay mask on my face. You know, you're shaving, you're self-tanning, like doing that full routine that just makes you feel like a brand new woman after like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Because again, what else do we have to do? We might as well try all the products. So I've really enjoyed that and kind of the leisure of doing that because when you have like a normal life and a normal routine, you're always on the go. You know,
Busy. Yeah.
you gotta, people have to drop their kids off, then they have to go to an appointment. Oh, you forgot you scheduled the dentist. Oh, you got to go to the post office. And it's like so much going on that taking 2 hours out of your day to do like this leisurely routine seems crazy. But now it's been really fun to do that. And then the other thing I really have gone back to is reading. I was a big reader about a decade ago. I mean, I loved to read books. I loved the feeling of a book. But when social media and this online world happened, I didn't have the time because I was reading blogs, I was reading articles, I was creating content, I was creating videos, and that took all of my time. I'm going back to reading because it helps me reduce the anxiety, it helps me reduce the notifications on my phone, it helps me get away from my inbox, and it's just me and the book. So I think those three have been kind of the places of joy outside of, I think the biggest joy that I have, and it's so funny, when I hit the right moment in a video. Videos are the most satisfying to create because photos are a little bit easier. You kind of conceptualize and you make it come to life. But with video and how creative people are and how transitions happen now with TikTok and Reels, when I get that perfect transition in a video and it rolls smoothly and it's like I snap my fingers and I'm
You're
in the
like,
next outfit,
yes.
there is, I can't explain that joy. And I'm like, yes. And Aaron will look at me and be like, you got it. You nailed the transition because that joy, it's so hard to explain, but it's
Yeah.
because you had a vision and it came to life. And I'm sure that's how you feel with product creation because you have the vision in mind. And then when you finally get to the formulation that you were looking for and the result, you're like, yes, I nailed
Did
it.
it.
You know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, I love all the answers to those questions. I love HIT myself. That's my go-to. It can be really quick or really long.
Yeah.
And you just, and getting our heart rates up and down is so
Mm-hmm.
key. For me, getting older, for you, you're young to not have to worry about that yet. But when you get to be my age, sometimes you have to get your heart rate up quite a bit higher, like when you were in high school sprinting on the basketball court. And
Yeah.
but I just really so much enjoyed speaking with you today. Stellar Girl embodies everything that you have done in your life. You have followed your dreams and your passions. You experience joy. You give to others. You have other women around you and creating this incredible brand that you have developed yourself. And that is something super stellar. And I think that is just an awesome way to live and a way to be. And I love that you take care of yourself and all of I need some beauty help. So I'm going to be going to you for that. Good. I need a little new skincare routine myself, but I really, really appreciate everything that you've said today. I hope that all of our listeners hear about your story, see that you've gone and followed your dreams and passions and went from this corporate world to this super fun lifestyle blogging, vlogging, podcasting world. And I think this is incredible. And I've enjoyed this so much. And I hope our listeners have as well. And thank you so much for being a part of Speaking Stellar Girl today. I truly appreciate you and everything that you've done. Your followers, when I saw that number and I heard that they were all organic, that is true and authentic and real. And I really appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure, like I said, to actually do a face-to-face and see you. I mean, not in person, but this is as close as we can, which is amazing.
Hopefully soon in person. I'll meet
Yes,
you on
that would be
at the
amazing.
cafes in Norway or on the dog sled because we need some adventure and travel in our lives.
I love it.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that bell icon to be notified of new episodes. To learn more about the Stellar Girl movement, please visit us at stellargirl.com.